model and had many similarities to. For example, one contrast between the Indian classical empires and the Grecian/Persian empires was a need for conquest and military efforts. For example, the Spartans in Greece put a lot of time and effort into their military, but the Indian empires put a lot of their effort into cultural growth. Both of these empires were polytheistic in some respects. The Indian empires faced political fragmentation over their government system, while the Greeks struggled for a new system of democracy. They had a system of city-states called polises.
Chandragupta I overthrew Michas and invaded foreign tribes, uniting the regions of northern India. His successor Samudragupta took over the Gangetic Plain and annexed Bengal, Malwa, Assam, Ujjaini, and the Pallava kingdom. Successor Chandragupta II conquered all of northern and southern India. He also controlled most of the major Asian land trade routes. Hephthalites, also known as Hunas, took over the northern regions by 500 AD, leading to the fall of the empire. The Mauryan Empire originated in the Indo-Gangetic plains of modern Bihar, eastern Uttar Pradesh, and Bengal. Its capital was at Pataliputra near modern Patna. Chandragupta Maurya founded the empire by overthrowing the Nanda dynasty and then expanded it over central and western India. Eventually, the empire fully conquered northwestern India. At the height of its power, it spanned from the Himalayas to the east into Assam, to the west in modern Pakistan and parts of Afghanistan. It was the largest empire to rule the Indian subcontinent. Under Chandragupta, the Mauryan Empire conquered the Trans-Indus region, defeating its Macedonian ruler. Unlike a lot of empires of this era, the Gupta Empire was very tolerant of other religions, especially Buddhism. It profited heavily from religious trade and pilgrims. Despite this cultural sensitivity and diversity, it culturally revolved around Hinduism. All their rulers were Hindu. Regardless, they were very peaceful when expanding their empire. Hindu temples and shrines were built throughout the lands ruled by the Guptas. Their dominant literary works strayed away from religion. Nearing the fall of the empire, however, Buddhists were discriminated against and fled. In other words, Hinduism prevailed and Buddhism declined. The religious aspects of the Mauryan Empire were very diverse. First off, Jainism led to reform throughout the society, while Hinduism brought political and social peace. The caste system that was embedded in Hinduism was frowned upon by King Ashoka. Buddhism grew, and there were Buddhist schools, universities, and stupas. Buddhist architecture was prevalent. The last ruler, Brihadrata, was Buddhist. He converted after the Battle of Kalinga, which made many convert to Buddhism and become pacifistic. Ashoka Maurya gave up his throne and became a monk in the name of Jainism. Chandragupta Maurya was also Jainist, and he was the first emperor of India to be converted to Jainism. This was frowned on by Hindu priests. The first national park was created as a product of the rise of Jainism. Vegetarianism and animal hospitals were also products of the rise of Jainism during this era.
Today we're going to be talking about the economical and intellectual aspects of both the Mauryan Empire and the Gupta dynasty. For the Mauryan Empire, the ruler Ashoka, grandson of Chandragupta, encouraged trade and constructed an extensive system of roads, complete with rest areas for travelers. Along these roads, which connected with the Silk Roads, Ashoka spread the ideas of Buddhism. The core of the Mauryan Empire was the kingdom of Magadha, which benefited from its strategic location and plentiful agricultural and iron resources. Later, the Mauryan government made its capital at Pataliputra. This imperial establishment included a large army, which was supported by a 25% tax on agricultural products of the empire and by state monopolies on mines, shipbuilding, and armaments. During the political fragmentation in northern India, economical development was mostly aided by guilds of artisans or merchants. Now moving on to the Gupta dynasty and its economical aspects. It should be noted that the Gupta style of rule was not as centralized as that of the Mauryan Empire, although they did share some things in common. The Gupta Empire began with the kingdom of Magadha, and just like the Mauryan Empire, the Guptas controlled iron deposits, established state monopolies, and collected a 25% agricultural tax, although it was never as strong as the Mauryan Empire. We can see a common theme between both ruling powers that the agriculture was key. And later on, the financial burden of defense against the Huns was the result of the Gupta Empire collapsing. It should also be noted that the Gupta dynasty was a bit of a show-off. They practiced or exercised power as a theater state, redistributing profits and luxury goods from trade and dazzling its dependents with elaborate ceremonies in return for gifts and other favors.